Hi, Dave.
Hi, my little fresh cream pie. How are you?
Amazing. I don't want to go into some of the sort of technical workings of this podcast, but we had to do this call again, and last time you gave me a different nickname, so you've just come up with cream pie. Do you have a list of these?
Did you prefer fresh Pop Tart when you had our technical problem or cream pie?
Definitely Pop-Tart. I think we know why.
Now, the first thing I wanted to point out is that there was a lot, and I mean a lot, of positive feedback to playing Great North, your old band, at the end of the last episode. And it actually made me think, I wasn't sure why you guys broke up. I thought maybe it was your wife, Rach, being sick of touring. But why did Great North end?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. It started out with 5 members, and they slowly whittled down to just me and Rachel, and then Rachel quit. And she's my wife, so I took that as a sign that maybe I should give up.
Now, we are revisiting emo music in this episode, which seems crazy because we've already done an emo episode. But I'm wondering if you, Hayden, former frontman of the band Great North, has any thoughts on emo music?
Not fully formulated thoughts. It really depends what type of emo music you're talking about, though, right? Because there's like the respectable, this is my understanding anyway, there's like the respectable old school real emo that I also don't listen to. And then there's like the pop emo that came out with Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance and the I can't ever did people ever heard of closing the goddamn door, which is quite honestly one of the great lyrical feats of our time to actually get that sentence into a catchy pop hook. But still,
what do you think was the most emo song that Great North ever wrote?
Oh, they're all pretty emo. Like I hate listening to anything from back in like 2010 or something where I just like had breakup. I'm just thinking there's one called To Leave Someone. Oh my God.
Oh, that sounds emo.
Yeah.
Can you recall any of the lyrics to that song?
Love is a destroying wind, a slow retreating army. It's a lone star on the horizon, calling to the sea. And though no feelings change, and words are cheap, tonight you're dying to be heard. So much you're talking in your sleep. You say you want to leave someone. You say you want to leave someone. Well, how about me? Because of that. It's a little bit slower and more emotional. Just imagine that quite a lot, like more emotional.
I'm David Farrier, a New Zealander accidentally marooned here in America, and I want to figure out what makes this country tick. Now, months ago, we did an episode on emo music where Rob educated me through a complex slideshow presentation, tracing the origins and geography of emo like he was a detective grasping a corkboard in a true crime show. Are you ready for another metaphor? Simile, in fact. Well, apparently, Rob was left unsatisfied, like a dehydrated man in the desert who just needs more water. Rob needed more emo. So here we are with more emo. And I promise you there's a method to this madness because this is the Emo Part 2 episode.
Flightless bird touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird touchdown in America. La da 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 do 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 do.
Oh my God, Rob, so emo.
So emo.
Beautiful, genuinely beautiful.
We had to bring back the Nick Thomas from Spill Canvas intro.
Beautiful, legitimately beautiful.
I don't know, this might end up being too much work if every week we do a thematic cover of the podcast theme, but I like it.
I'm always up. This podcast I listen to, the Daily, they sometimes remix their intro. And I'm always a little bit thrilled when they do it. And the fact we do it, I think it's kind of a neat thing. And because it kind of makes you look, you get so used to hearing the theme song of any podcast. And then when you hear it done in a different way, It just makes you think about it in an entirely different way. You focus on different parts of it. You either focus on the melody more or the lyrics, and you kind of hear it for the first time again.
Yes, but it also feels very familiar.
It goes back to that eternal question about covers of songs and what a cover adds, if it's better, if it's worse. I always think of when Johnny Cash covered Hurt by Nine Inch Nails, and there's a generation of kids out there who think Johnny Cash was the first person to do it because his cover was so good. And I think it's generally recognized that even Johnny Cash's cover is one of those covers that is improves upon, but it makes it his own.
Yeah.
And that's a really special thing. There's nothing worse than a cover that's doing the exact same thing, but worse.
Especially when you're breaking genres like that. When did Johnny Cash cover that?
It was on his last record before he passed. It was this beautiful music video that was shot with him in June, his wife in the video, and he's doing that song, and it's so emotional and so intense because he's got this faltering older voice, and it's really beautiful. If you haven't heard the Johnny Cash Hurt, it's worth listening to.
When covers kind of reinvent and put their own twist on it, I think is when they're most effective. Versus like trying to just cover and sound exactly like the original.
The worst.
It's not karaoke night.
Yeah, no, horrific. Horrific. What's your favorite cover? Flightless Bird Chat at gmail.com.
I think my favorite, at least currently, is Phoebe Bridgers and Arlo Parks. They do a Fake Plastic Trees Radiohead cover
Radiohead.
In like a church. There's like a compilation of OK Computer Radiohead covers. And I feel like it's that same phenomena where it's these songs that I love in such a like deep way, but then hearing these other artists
in an entirely different way
take it a different direction.
So Hayden's wife Rachel, who was in Great North with him before she abandoned the band, and her husband, she is in an informal unprofessional choir called the Stimming Choir, and they covered OK Computer in its entirety in a church. And that was a really amazing thing to witness, because hearing OK Computer done by 30, 40 voices. It was, and they were an unprofessional choir, and it still sounded incredible.
What makes them unprofessional?
That's a really good question, because they are, I guess they're like a hobby choir. Like, they're not professional singers. They're not taking themselves seriously. They don't do it for the money. They just do it for the love.
I would say like a choir at a church is not an unprofessional choir, and they're doing it
sounds
for
like
God.
It sounds like I'm like insulting them.
Yeah,
but they market themselves. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. They kind of market themselves as being like
just unprofessional. They like are kind of crass and.
Wait, no, I'm just going to see how they do market themselves, because it's like they're just trying to say like we're not like.
Yeah, you're not opera singers. You're not.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Most choirs, I would imagine, are not professional though.
The coolest choir in Auckland, in quote marks. We sing rock classics and welcome anyone to the fold.
Okay. It's like a pickup game of basketball, but with choir.
Yes, exactly.
Where it's like Saturday, anyone who wants to show up and sing.
That would take anyone. No, there's definitely a line of quality you have to have. I would not be a member. I would be rejected.
I mean, it sounds like anyone, though. You could join. Go ruin their choir, David.
Really quickly, we had so many applications for the social media job. They're now closed just because we have so many. If we didn't get back to you, it's because there's only 2 of us. Please don't be insulted. We've reached out to the people that we think will be a good fit. If you haven't heard from us, please don't be insulted. There were like too many good ones to pick from. And also, we like to think there'll be other roles in the future. So like we have you in our little database, and so may reach out down the line. So if you didn't hear from us, don't be like, oh my God, I'm useless. Nothing could be further from the truth. No, it's just a case of like so much.
We were kind of blown away with the amount.
Expected 10 people, and it was a lot more than that. And just seeing the effort everyone put into things and the thought they put into it meant a lot. It was really special. And I also know that applying for a job is harrowing. Like when I applied for the video store in New Zealand when I was 17, and I didn't hear back, and that was just so.
Oh yeah, I have those where it was like I wanted to work at AMC and never got that call back.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I realized as well, like because we always read the emails but can't get back to everyone. But this one would have been nice to reply to everyone. But again, we just don't have the capacity. But thank you for applying. You're all wonderful. I was also I don't want to focus on Rosabel all the time, but we got obviously a lot of people emailing in about her email address. And I was just amazed at no one still being able to spell Rosabel's name. So I just wanted to point out, it's not Roosevelt the president.
I think part of this is your fault. Your pronunciation.
my accent, my issues.
Just pronunciation, maybe.
So Rosabel.
Yeah.
The different spellings we got, Rosebel, Rosabell, Roseabelle, Rosablee, and my favorite one, which is very common, Roosevelt, Roosevelt. All those are incorrect. It is Rosabel, 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 not President Roosevelt, which apparently every American hears Rosabel and they're like, oh, our old president, Roosevelt.
No, I think it's just how you're pronouncing it.
No, it's the American
Americans
brain.
know
An American
Roosevelt.
hears something. An American hears a word and they go, what is that from American history? It must be linked to us. They hear me say Rosabel and they go, oh, Roosevelt. Oh, Roosevelt, our old president with the top hat. We loved Roosevelt. Have you ever heard that first name before? I certainly never have.
I do think it's a good nickname for her now, though.
Roosevelt.
Can we send her like a hat that just says Roosevelt?
She really appreciates all the misspellings. I sent them to her and she was like, this is wild. Anyway, you're welcome to keep emailing about what you think her address is. That's my admin. As always, if you like our podcast, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever, if you like and subscribe, it's a huge help. And share episodes on your social. That's a huge help. That's the end of my PSA.
Emo part 2.
Emo part 2. So, Rob, explain to me, I got to say, Emo part 1, if we look at the numbers, it was a hit.
Yeah.
People enjoy it. It sort of, I think, blew both of us away. I think it was a mixture of people love music, people love nostalgia. And I think there's something about me trying to learn about this thing that I don't understand that's sort of interesting. You, of course, did your huge True Detective-esque presentation about the history of emo. Why are we back again today?
There's still so much to explore, I guess.
Yeah, endless.
We got a lot of great feedback, and then
it was fun.
This has kind of been in the works.
It has.
For 2-3 months.
I think we can go into the guts of it a little bit about like what has been going on.
Yeah. First episode, we kind of laid out that there were 5 emo elders in my mind.
Yes.
And I will say, like, I think most of them kind of fell second wave / generation of emo. Mm-hmm. There was like first wave of emo, that's Sunny Day Real Estate, Get Up Kids, those types of bands, which was before my emo time.
Before your emo prime.
But then the second wave, like Hayden was talking about, the like Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy.
The ones that hit New Zealand very hard.
Yes.
Like I've seen all of those bands in person in New Zealand because they all made it that far.
I also think that generation of emo was the biggest of all of them.
Yeah. Can I also just tell you something quite funny that I didn't talk about in the first one? So I worked for about 5 years as sort of a music light entertainment reporter on our late night news. And when Fall Out Boy was in town, I tried so hard to get Pete Wentz on our show. Yeah. Like I saw him like just this big band. I thought he was like very attractive, very cool. I didn't want Stumpy. I wanted Pete Wentz.
Yeah, he was the face of the band.
And he was, so me and that record label, I'm sort of emailing them like, can we please just get me Pete? Give me 5 minutes with Pete. And we did end up getting that time, but I just found it very funny that a couple of years ago, I go with you to pick a fantasy football game.
Yeah.
And there at the end of the table, just sort of casually sitting, which with my face blindness took me a moment.
Yeah.
But his beauty still sort of cut through. It's like, there's fucking Pete Wentz. And he was just the very lovely, chill guy. But I had a moment in my brain where rewind for 10 years, and I was desperately trying to get time with this man.
I mean, I that was a band that I loved growing up too, and like waited in line at venues for. So it's weird to end up those moments. I mean, the funny timing thing about all of that is I just played Pete Wentz in fantasy football this last weekend.
I don't understand that sentence.
You went to our fantasy draft, David. You understand how fantasy football.
You played him. Like he was on the other team.
He was my matchup.
I see.
This past weekend.
And how did it go?
I destroyed him.
You destroyed Pete Wentz. You annihilated him. Good job.
Yeah.
Did he take it okay? Did he take it like a champ?
Yeah. I think he's in last place in our league right now.
It feels like bullying.
I know.
I won't stand for it.
It was like my best showing.
Good job. It's really good. You destroyed a hot emo boy. That's really good.
Let me just find final score for you because I know everyone really wants to know.
I think a lot of people probably do. What's your team name first?
Well, my team name is Jean-Claude Bijan.
Okay.
Because
don't understand that.
You know Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I do. Big fan.
Bijan Robinson was my first round pick.
Okay.
So
you combined
his name.
Okay, that's cool.
I beat him 149 to 103.
Great job.
Yes.
Really good job.
Which that it was my highest scoring week. So
what do you put that down to? Just good picks? Good skills and picking?
I mean, it's a lot of luck. I just had a good turnout from my team.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Okay, but sorry, back to the formation of emo part 2.
Yes.
We noticed that some of these people that are quite important in your world, in your PowerPoint presentation, we could grab them.
Well, they're all on tour right now. All these bands are touring right now.
So for the last 3 months, we've basically been grabbing these boys.
We've just been collecting.
Yeah, we throw them in our car, we bring them into the studio, and we're like, we're going to talk to you about emo and quiz you about it.
Yeah.
For this sort of mega emo part 2, which is what we are in right now.
So to kick things off with that, this was our number 1 emo elder.
Mm-hmm. How could we forget?
Was Chris Carrabba from Dashboard Confessional.
I think emo is an offshoot of music scenes. I think it's like where a few intersect. It's some combination of the hardcore scene, the post-hardcore scene as it relates to punk, and like the goth scene, and with a healthy dose of singer-songwriter influence. And that's where it is in terms of a musical lane. And then I think in terms of a cultural lane, it is really difficult, as you guys have already discovered, to define, because there's a million tributaries. And then it's like an endless branching off of definition. I feel ill-suited to be the guy to define it.
And it's always shifting and changing as well. Like when you got into this game, I imagine emo meant a very different thing even to what it means now.
You know, I was listening to the end of your episode about emo, and you had reached out to some friends via email. They were sheepishly admitting, I think, that they were emo. And I sat with that for a minute wondering why, and realized for me, like I don't have any qualms with that. I have had qualms with it, but I don't currently. And there's been 2 periods where I felt strange about putting myself into that lane. One, when we were new, when I thought the bands I'd come up with, like Further Seems Forever or Dashboard, we had a lot of deference and respect for the bands that came before us, who we had heard defined as emo. And it felt like we couldn't be that good. So we would skirt it a little bit. And then I realized at some point, it's this evolving definition. At some point, the scene around us had accepted a new definition for emo bands that retained a lot of what had come before us, and also still defined those bands. It didn't box them out. It just included us now. And I was like, I thought that was great. Later, when the spillover happened, as happens with all scenes, I think, where it goes beyond the culture it's born in.
So what was the community of your music scene when you were a kid, where you were growing up? Like, what did that look like?
I first lived in Connecticut, in the Hartford area. Unbeknownst to me, there was like a long lineage of hardcore and punk rock roots, being so close, right in between Boston and New York, and having many of the bands like Gorilla Biscuits and Youth of Today, like having roots in Connecticut. But I just didn't know it until I moved to Florida.
Yeah, right.
And once I moved to Florida, I fell in with the other skaters and surfers and punk rockers. I didn't know there were any others, but I found them when I moved to Florida.
That's always the way when you move away from home, though. Like, that's when you find out what's like really there.
So most of the roots that I put down in terms of a musical community where I was accepted into that one, the Florida one. And it was really communal effort, co-op-y kind of stuff, where you had to work, not had to, everybody was thrilled to work for the show that you weren't playing. Like I would be flyering your show, David, or I'd be loading in at your show, Rob. It was all of this communal effort that we all were serious about. We were serious about the good time. And I was lucky enough to live in a place that we thought it was unlucky at the time. We lived way down in South Florida near Fort Lauderdale. And it's like the South Florida scene is like West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. It's a pretty long stretch, but that's when there's not that many kids to put something together, you'll drive the extra hour or so. We were kind of geographically isolated for the rest of the bands that we've been talking about to come down. There were some like amazing North Florida bands that would become like our version of Fugazi, like hot water music, and they would come all the way down. But otherwise, you kind of get to Gainesville and maybe you do a pit stop and then you head to Louisiana as you're going on tour. Cause like it's going to cost you a ton of money to get all the way down to, drive another 12 hours.
I read that you founded Further Seems Forever. You joined, started in 98?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then you left before the record came out to start Dashboard?
Not to start Dashboard, just
happened
left.
to start.
I had started bringing the Further guys the Dashboard songs. They were really like, especially Chad, the bass player, was really like, hey, this isn't right for us, but this is like really, there's something here. They were really encouraging for me to do something outside the band.
That's quite nice.
Yeah.
They weren't like possessive of you in that way.
No, they weren't. And I didn't feel rejected in that way that might make you go, well, I'm going to strike out on my own. No, I felt like, oh, okay, good. They like this song for them. And this song they think I should do by myself. Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Which really speaks to the community that you're talking about.
Yeah. And honestly, I just figured they would all be if I started another band for those songs, I'd probably get those guys to play. That was what I thought anyway. But I didn't quit for Dashboard. But when I quit Further, I had the one and only tour I'd ever planned to do for Dashboard booked. And so I was like, well, I was pretty depressed having quit Further. I didn't want to quit Further. I felt like it was a decision that sort of just had to be made, as those things go sometimes. And the breakup didn't stick. I ended up back in Further and still am. But I was not sure what I would do next musically. So I thought, well, I'll do this. I know I'm going to do this one tour. I think it was a 2-week tour. And somehow this is hyperbolic, but only slightly. I never really went home from that tour. I never had to figure it out. Somehow it began to connect with people in that time.
Do you remember a moment when you realized, oh, this Dashboard thing is working? Like, or was it those 2 weeks where it's like, oh yeah, this is connecting?
It was those weeks. It was possibly right before that little run that I did. Mm-hmm. The fact that when I tried to book that run, people said yes. That was always they just said yes right away. They weren't like, oh, well, tell me who you know in this town or whatever,
No, none of that bullshit.
Yeah. I wouldn't exactly say they rolled out the red carpet. That's not what I mean at all. But they took the call and they said, sure, we'll give you the shot. And then every time in the very beginning days, if you got my record, it's because I sold it to you out of my trunk.
Cool.
Or at my merch table. But at the very first out-of-town show I did was right before that tour. And about 2 weeks before, I kind of did it as a warm-up. And it wasn't so far out of town. I think it was in St. Pete, other coast of Florida. And they knew the songs. Like knew it. They sang them heartily with me. And I was like, this is weird. I've never been here.
What the hell is going on?
They couldn't have all gotten to South Florida to get my CD at that one time I ever played before, wasn't that?
Yeah.
And that's when I learned about Napster.
I mean, I think that's probably how I heard the first record too. It was 7th grade, so that'd have been 2000.
Yeah.
And there was a kid in class that I asked what he was listening to, and he's like, well, you wouldn't like this. He was like, no one is going to like this. And then he showed me it, and it was a burned CD of Dashboard Confessional. And I was like...
So we were protective sometimes about, this was how we were learning to understand ourselves, right? We find these bands that made us see ourselves for what we hope to be, or what we were more painfully sometimes. They're like a divining rod or something.
Totally.
For how you're going to find your way through the world. And so laying yourself bare to tell somebody you might not know that well from school to be like, well, okay, I guess I'll show you this thing.
This is what I'm into.
It's like, I'm going to show you the deepest part of me here that I'm only reconciling with myself now. I'm still battling with it. You won't like it. It's something I remember being like, well, what if I do though? That was one of the great things about Napster, was that suddenly you didn't need anybody to tell you whether you should or shouldn't like something. Because a lot of that's just access.
Completely.
Like, well, they'll only put the stuff in the stores that they think you're going to like, right? But if they put everything in the store, you might find something they didn't expect you to like, or they expect you not to like, and didn't want you to like.
It just made everything so much more accessible as well. Like instead of like having to fork out. In New Zealand, it was, I think, $34 for an album for a CD. And that was like all your money for the month, you know?
Those tariffs
it was like the tariffs are crazy back then. But yeah, Napster, I'm glad I got to live through that time before Napster and after, and even like pre-internet and after internet.
Me too.
It's nice to have like lived through that and seen that transition. The kids don't know how lucky they've got it today.
No, but they have no less fire in them for discovering the thing or being first.
We had a listener write in after our first emo episode. And I'm just going to read you the email because I thought I should. Alexandria, she wrote in, I went to a Dashboard Confessional show in 2007 and hung around after the show, snuck through some gates, naughty, and was able to meet the front man, Chris. That is you, I understand. Any emo girl's dream at the time, except the only thing I said to him was, I wanted to buy a shirt, but I didn't like any of them. Will you have better shirts soon? Mortifying. I've actually thought about this moment probably monthly in the almost 2 decades since it's happened.
In her defense, I don't think it was a very good merch run.
Oh, wow.
Tour.
She wasn't completely deranged in her approach.
We improved it after that. Maybe.
Okay. Because of her comment.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Calm. Now, I want to clarify that is C-A-L-M. C-A-L-M, Calm. I'm feeling calm. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Calm. Does anyone else out there feel like this year's flying by way, way, way too fast? I look and see it's almost the end of the year, which seems crazy. Where did the time go? Anxiety starts to kick in, and it can leave you feeling scattered and behind.
This time of year especially, it's getting colder. You just feel exhausted. I think it's getting darker earlier.
Everyone I know who is working on something creative or making things all feel wrecked.
Yeah, it's exhaustion by like 5 o'clock, but that's where Calm comes in. Calm's the #1 app for sleep and meditation. It's here to help you feel better.
And it gives you permission to slow everything down, even if it feels like everything around you is speeding up. Because there's a lot out there that's telling us how to be better, be a better parent, better partner, better worker, better version of yourself, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing is so exhausting. So when I need to hit pause and reset, Calm is the tool I reach out for to release stress and find space just to breathe, even in the busiest days.
Calm offers guided meditations to help work through anxiety and stress, boost your focus, and build healthier habits. They have sleep stories, sleep meditations, and calming music. I especially like doing this either right when I wake up or right before bed.
I use this to go to sleep. Their sleep stories, I'm out cold. And they also have grounding exercises to help you reset and relax when you're feeling overwhelmed in general, and expert-led talks to help you handle things like grief, improve self-esteem, improve relationships, all that kind of stuff.
Calm your mind, change your life. Calm has an exclusive offer for listeners of our show. Get 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/bird.
This is important. Go to calm.com/bird for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library.
Calm.com/bird.
And tell Calm, C-A-L-M, you heard about them from me. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Factor. Now, fall always feels like a reset between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days. Finding time to cook and all of that can be really, really tough. I mean, I find it hard to cook at any time of the year, to be honest, and that's why I love Factor. Their chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious, no matter how hectic the season gets.
As a parent of 2 little boys that eat so much food, having a hack of smoothies and things that can be delivered that I can feed these children.
Yeah, you know it's there and it's ready to go very quickly.
Yes, and they have a lot of variety. So there's a wide selection of meal options that I can pick from. That's all the boys need, is they need variety so that they don't feel like they're eating the same thing every day. So I just use Factor.
Also for me, having a Factor box appear and then I know I have it in my fridge for the week all ready to go. The danger of, especially I find like where I live, it's so easy to eat out and spend so much money all the time. And just having that saves me so much money.
The other thing that I love about Factor is that they offer better nutrition. 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier lifestyle. So as I'm loading up things for the boys, you feel a little guilty if you're giving them junk. So I have the hack of here is prepared meals, but it's still healthy.
And the same for me. If I eat out, I end up eating horrific food, whereas Factor I know is going to be good for me. So eat smart at factormeals.com/bird50off and use code bird50off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year.
That's code BIRD50OFF at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor.
Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. I loved his vibe.
Yeah, that was Chris Carrabba.
I don't mean to get airy-fairy, but very good aura.
Yes.
He just had a very calming presence around him. I felt relaxed.
He was so nice. He was everything I would have hoped.
Yeah.
He had us out for the show that night. Not you.
Yeah.
You were, I think you went to Oasis.
I wasn't
or something
invited. That was my Oasis night. But instantly he was like, "You coming to the show?"
Yeah.
Just so happy to help. And he spent a long time with us here, which was pretty neat.
On a show day, which I know that can be a lot.
I was thinking, listening back to that, for any, I know we have a 12-year-old listener who emailed in last week.
Mm-hmm.
If we have any kids listening, Napster was such a phenomenon at the time. Before that, we were buying records on CD, very expensive. Suddenly Napster, that was dial-up internet days. Still.
Yeah, that was before streaming. Before Napster, I was going to Best Buy looking at like new releases or going to concerts and buying CDs.
Yeah, I was going to Sounds Music Store in New Zealand, which was our main chain, and very expensive. You had to really decide what CD, what album you were going to get.
Yeah.
Because if you messed it up, that's a lot of money gone.
Yeah, it's
Suddenly Napster comes along. Yeah. Napster comes along and it took a long time, but you could download an individual song for free. And of course, very famously at the time, Metallica decided to make it their entire mission in life to shut down Napster, which was...
It's successful. It's gone.
It's gone. They were successful. It's gone now. But kind of a shitty move for a band towards fans that just like wanted music more accessible, I suppose.
Yeah.
Any Hill to Die On, it probably wasn't the one. And I always remember I would download a song and so many times some asshole would have relabeled it. So you thought you were getting a certain song, but it was something else. When it came to downloading movies illegally on file sharing later, famously, people would upload porn and rename it as Mission Impossible 1 or whatever. So you spend a week downloading and then you just get porn, which actually back in the day was sort of a gift from the heavens anyway. It wasn't the worst thing in the world that could happen.
The file sharing transition to streaming is a much bigger conversation though of like what that's done and how it's affected musicians and artists.
Probably be a good episode because it is like deeply American. Yeah, but that transition, I guess Napster was the first sort of hint we had at the idea of something being available purely online.
Because I don't also think Metallica was wrong.
No, they were out. They just went about it in the wrong way.
I think that's more...
They were very anti-fan as opposed to like, we need to be a little bit more fair. You can't steal our music, which is a reasonable thing from a band.
There's a little bit of disconnect of who the villain in the streaming and pirating of content is.
Oh, completely. Because also musicians didn't have control over how much CDs were sold for as well.
Yeah.
Like I remember there's there was a really fun clip that went around probably circa 2005 of Trent Reznor on stage touring, and he was in New Zealand or Australia, and he'd basically found out that CDs down there were $34 to buy. And he was sort of shocked by it.
Yeah.
And he said to the audience, he was like, just steal and steal and steal away. And there's that attitude as well, because it's that relationship between artist, label.
Yeah, I think it's the
fan.
label, the streamer, the artist, the fan. Like, it's a...
And at the moment, clearly we're in a horrific, weird mess of all kinds of crazy, where it's increasingly so hard to be a living musician who's living off that work.
Well, and I mean, I think the most important pieces of that are like the artist and what they're making and how it's connecting to the fan.
100%.
But it gets very muddied in between with those other pieces.
I think you and I are very similar in that if we go to shows of bands that we love, we will usually buy a t-shirt or something physical, because it's not easy touring. Like, you don't make what you used to make, especially if you're a smaller band. My Chem, they're fine. Smaller bands, not so much.
But speaking of pirating music, we also asked Chris to play us a song.
And because he's a wonderful human, he said, yes, I will.
I'm missing your bed, I never sleep, avoiding the spots where we'd have to speak. On this bottle of beast is taking me home. I'm cuddling close to blankets and sheets, but you're not alone, you're not discreet. Make sure I know who's taking you home. Reading your note over again, there's not a word that I comprehend, except when you signed it, I will love you always and forever. You asked for now, I'm gonna hear the saddest songs and sit alone and wonder how you're making out. But as for me, I wish that I was anywhere with anyone making out. I'm missing your laugh. How did it break? When did your eyes begin to look fake? I hope you're as happy as you're pretending. I'm cuddling close to blankets and sheets, and I am alone in my defeat. I wish I knew we were safely at home. I'm missing your bed, I never sleep, avoiding the spots where we'd have to speak. And this bottle of beast is taking me home. Well, as for now, I'm gone.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I got goosebumps.
That was
sitting in here.
off. That was off the first record in 7th grade. Like, speaking of those moments.
Wait, so how surreal is that for you sitting in the studio here, we're making the show, and then you have him performing that song? That's a trip.
Yeah, I mean, I
know you know a lot of these people now, but it's
Yeah.
still it's like a pinch me moment sometimes that cuts through.
I think the way I like to think about it is like 7th grade me
Mhm.
talking to 7th grade me and being like, he's in our studio now playing the song for us.
Yeah,
And trying to appreciate that full circle
completely.
moment.
There is that strange thing where as you get older, like, because that 7th grade you would be so excited, and there's that thing as an adult, like everything it's harder to feel that punch.
Yeah.
But then you'll get elements of it sometimes, and it's like, oh, that's what it was like.
Yeah.
That feeling. Okay, Rob.
All right, so
where on your
keep
True
moving.
Detective dashboard are we now?
I think what I really like about the genre and kind of what we're doing with part 2 is everyone kind of has different journeys with it.
Yeah.
Everyone that was creating this and listening to it and
With the genre of emo.
yeah, and what it meant to them.
Yeah.
It was so personal to everyone that it meant different things. Like Chris talking about it is different than how our next guest talked about it.
And I also think I've always thought about it from the perspective of a fan of the music and what you argue over what is emo and what is not.
Yeah.
And until you and I started doing this, I didn't realize that the bands themselves, of course, would be grappling with the same thing, with perceptions and what it means to them and what it means to the industry and everything. Like, emo is like a very loaded, of all the genres, emo feels particularly loaded.
Well, there's that and like how they were grappling with it at the time. And now we're also seeing like, this next guest is, he came through, was doing a 20-year tour of this album.
Yeah.
And like his journey with emo music throughout 20 years is going to be different than even just what it meant at that time.
Yeah, well, so much change. I mean, 20 years is like a lifetime. That's insane.
Yeah. So it's also cool to be able to have these conversations with people that have stuck around with it for that long, and just how impressive it is that they are. Like, that they're doing a 20-year tour. That Dashboard came and they're playing these songs 20 years later.
The idea of doing anything, like I think of this podcast, like the idea of doing this we've been doing it for say 3 years, doing it for like another 17 years, terrifying to me. That's insane, but that's essentially what these bands have done. And they've had to live with their image and the songs they've written and that song that was popular 20 years ago that everyone still wants to hear now. That's a trip.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of unnatural. Like, sticking around with anything for that long is kind of unnatural.
Yeah. That's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
So Nick Thomas from the Spill Canvas came through. You were busy.
I was.
So
I was annoyed to miss this.
I filled your shoes a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm curious to see how this went.
And had a conversation with Nick that I'm going to play for you.
Just really quickly, did you miss me, or was it quite nice?
Yeah. It was efficient.
Less sort of dawdling, less like annoying conversations in between.
No, it's like the embarrassing dad when you have like a friend over.
Yeah.
No, it's nice. It's nice having you there because also your perspective, I think, is very valuable.
Thank you. It's very kind, but it was efficient.
There's also just so much to do when we are bringing people in.
Completely. Thanks for doing this solo, and I'm looking forward to listening.
So, my name is Nick Thomas. I play in a band called the Spill Canvas.
Do you remember the first time you heard emo music to describe your music?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was instant when I started playing shows under my name, under Nick Thomas. There was a flyer. I remember I played with this band, The Weaker Thans.
I remember The Weaker Thans. Yeah.
It's so crazy. I didn't know I was a bass player from Propaganda, all this stuff. And I grew up in this pop punk world, and played a show in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where I grew up. And it said on the flyer, the promoter decided to write above my name, like a little blurb about what it is, the sugary, sweet emo sounds of Nick Thomas. And so I was like, okay. There's I think a period where the term was looked down upon, at least to me and my friends. But at that time in the beginning, it was like, oh, that's cool. Like, because Texas is the Reason and Mineral and the Get Up Kids. And I love those bands. So it made me feel cool.
Well, and then how did you feel as that genre kind of evolved?
I loved being lumped into that term for the beginning. And then it kind of...
Yeah, when did the term turn for you and everyone? Because I feel like
there was we've
almost come full circle though, where it was good. Then people were a little embarrassed by the term, and now I think everyone has some introspection about it.
I want to say it was like 2000, anywhere from 2000, maybe 6 or 5 to like, maybe
2 years ago.
Yeah, like seriously, maybe 2016 or 2017. That's what it felt like to me anyway, because it was, with the advent of, emo night, incredible like movement that has, I think, helped in a way to normalize the term, I guess. But, I think it's more of an all-encompassing term as well at this point, because there's like, maybe more of like a pop punk band could be just thrown in there as emo as well today. So
I feel like it maybe healed a lot of people in that world too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm allowed to be okay with this moniker.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think there's something to be said about, the fact that it stands for emotional, and like, that's really all music if you're really going to get into it. So that was always kind of something in the back of my mind. So whenever people called us that during times when it was like maybe not the most favorable term, I would be okay with that because it's emotional.
Do you feel like your songs have kind of been, are they confessional?
Oh my God, yeah. Especially growing up the last like 10, 15 years, life gets trickier, more heavier topics. But I've always been very super open and honest and like about all of the stuff, whether it be something that's a little, you maybe would keep behind closed doors or something.
Yeah.
I just would prefer to talk about all that and out into the universe because it can help people, as well, because everyone goes through the same stuff.
Playing the same music 20 years later, how is that relationship with some of those old songs? Because I know you've dealt with a lot, over 20 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah.
Does it like reignite or reopen, or is it healing to be able to?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. So I'm super, super healing in different topics. Depending on how old the catalog is.
Yeah.
Some of these more bitter love songs. I'm like, I wouldn't even have the energy to be that bitter about a breakup right now in my life.
From high school?
Yeah, super, just a lot more, feeling the emotions a lot more intensely back then. Obviously have them today, but much more able to deal with them in more subdued and in a more measured, just, more mature adult way. But for sure, still feel a lot of those like... healing, like a lot of very strange foreshadowing in some way of like, I can't believe I wrote that lyric back then because it was more of just a into the ether thing. And then later it happened in my life. That's so wild. It's a strange little time machine situation that's happening there. But yeah, I relate very deeply to all the lyrics in some way, in some facet, but obviously the most tied to the most current stuff. And it's an ever evolving thing because I have the connection with the fans because a 20-year record like we're touring right now, those songs, they're singing back to me and they've lived a life and they've been married, they've been divorced, they have kids and a full 20-year life span. And they have all these memories tied to those songs. Whereas maybe I don't as much anymore, but then feeling their connection with it is a full reignition. And that's amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Well, can you speak then just what the emo world has kind of meant to you through your career?
I mean, it's like saved my life, you know, like brought me the most happiness and the most incredible people, the people around me and our team and all the people you meet. Some of the, I've never laughed harder, you know, like in my life as when I'm on tour. It's just, we're just ridiculous children, you know, at heart. But ultimately, yeah, it's saved my life. I wouldn't have traded anything to be able to do this like all over again. So I'm just happy that we get to do it still.
That was Nick.
Another incredibly good vibe.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that a lot of these, what is it? Is it the fact they've been in the game for this long, or would you say that people in the emo scene are genuinely nice? Like they seem like very egoless people.
I think it's both. I think it's you're making music where you're opening your heart up in the way that they were. Like, there is just some kindness that's going to be there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I also think the fact that they've been doing it for 20 years, you're not going to do it for 20 years if you're an asshole. Like, you're not going to get
things
tours,
are
you're not going to
apart.
get booked. Like,
yeah,
there are bands that maybe were better, but they weren't the nicest people
to deal with, and you're not going to get booked certain places, and certain promoters aren't going to keep working with you.
Yeah, and there's just like so much crossover, and like for this show, I went to Nick's show
how was it?
Night of this. It was great. Like Fred from Taking Back Sunday opened the show, and then May was on the show as well. So it's just this community doing these tours too, where it's
they all know each other.
Yeah, and like members from this band are playing with that band, and like Fred from Taking Back Sundays playing with Say Anything now.
Right.
And there's just all this crossover. So if you're an asshole, like you're not going to continue to get asked to go to these tours and play in these bands.
I also thought what he said was really interesting, how he doesn't necessarily feel as emotionally connected to a breakup he had 20 years ago, say, but in him performing the songs live and seeing an audience react kind of brings it all back, like activates it again. And that's a really interesting play between a band and an audience. I hadn't sort of thought about that before.
These like emo 20-year shows are wild. His show, like there was a woman in front of us just sobbing the entire set.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Like,
she was just
shaking.
Time travel.
Was just like, this meant so much. And 20 years ago, and like how much life has been lived since then, and still how much meaning. Yeah,
because 20 years is enough for like your kid to grow up into an adult, for someone to die, for all this stuff to happen. Yeah,
it just transports you back to what this song was healing at that time, and how much you've grown since then. And,
no, it's funny. I feel like music and smell are two things that transport me back super quickly. Yeah. Like if I smell a certain kind of tree bark, it's like I'm instantly 7 in Whangarei in New Zealand. And it's like just a smell. Yeah. And boom, you're there. And music is the same. And I feel like there's some songs like I struggle to listen to because it's just too, especially when it's so emotionally connected to when you're discovering music, which is when you're a teenager, everything is so intense.
Yeah, and you're dealing with emotions for the first time. And
and as a 42-year-old, you listen to it and you're like, oh, I feel like that horrible little kid again that's trying to figure stuff out.
No, I mean, I have albums like that are like very tied to
a
specific memories that, I mean, a lot of times aren't great memories either. They're heartbreaking memories or painful ones.
Yeah, and that crowd would be, where do they play?
They played at the Roxy.
Yeah, right.
But Nick also played here. So I've got that for you.
Silly question. Amazing. Now we can watch.
Yes.
Ready, spaghetti? Yep. Let's do it. In one fell swoop, it became clear to me that I'd spice you entirely. But the good news is I'm gonna keep you around. And so my lust is just convenient now. Crack open a bottle of red. Let's toast to this here bed. Offer up your hand, my one night, 2 month, 3-year stay. And all at once it became clear to me that you're allergic to honesty. Yeah, but you don't even have a friend around. And so my lust is just convenient now. Crack open a bottle of red. Let's toast to this here bed. Offer up your hand, my one night, 2 month, 3 year stay. I'm on my knees. Oh, so are you. Unfortunately, for the wrong reasons. Consistently believing that you're pure. You know it's not true. Yeah?
Cool. Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Bombas. Now, if you're not aware of this already, I'm sure you are. Fall is here. The kids are back at school. Vacations are over. And it's officially the start of cozy season, which means it's time to slide into some Bombas. You know Bombas by now if you listen to the show. They're the most comfortable sock out there. They also have slippers, tees, and underwear as well, all made from premium materials that actually make sense for this time of the year.
Yeah, they make great socks that feel great on your feet, your ankle, your calf, or if you're David, your thigh.
If you pull them up real high, you might get to the thigh, but mostly just calf. And it's not just socks. They've also designed slippers that make it hard to leave the house, from Sherpa-lined Sunday slippers to packing-friendly gripper slippers, and even waterproof Eva Friday slides. They have them all.
And the best part is that every item you buy, Bombas donates one to someone experiencing homelessness. Over 150 million items have been donated thanks to customers of Bombas.
Also, they have a whole happiness guarantee going on. So with that, if you're not 100% into what you've got, they'll make it right. No risk, all reward. Plus, if you're not in America, rejoice. They're also available through international shopping to over 200 countries.
Yeah, my favorite thing about their socks is just all the different color and pattern varieties they have. I don't like just a plain white sock. Sorry.
Boring.
But they have so many cool options that I can pair with what I'm wearing.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before. They've got a hungry caterpillar sock that I love. I've got a bunch of their white socks with stripes at the top that hug my calf beautifully. I fantasize about them hugging my thigh at one point, but for now, calf will have to do. Head over to bombas.com/bird and use code BIRD for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/bird, code BIRD at checkout. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Shopify. Now, when you've been shopping, have you, like me, ever noticed that purple Shop Pay button and how darn easy it is to buy something using it online? Because I bet you didn't know that this purple button is the telltale sign that a store is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it really, really easy to start a business as well, no matter what your experience level is. There's a reason that purple Shop Pay button is so loved.
I do love when I see that purple button because it's got all your information stored and it makes it very easy to just click. I don't have to pull out my wallet. Maybe it's in my car. Maybe it's downstairs. It just has everything. It's got my shipping address and it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, I hate filling in forms. It's like I want to fill that form in once and never again. And that's where that purple Shop Pay button really comes in strong. Now, if you're starting up a business and you want to use Shopify, know that Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands that are just getting started. And you can spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers.
And did we mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? That's why Shopify has had the best converting checkout on the planet. Customers already love it.
So if you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/bird.
Go to shopify.com/bird. Shopify.com/bird.
Fucking beautiful. I feel like our listeners are really getting bang for their buck. It's like we just curated a sort of a short kind of festival within this episode.
I do.
Like, I'm watching these. It's mind blowing.
I do really love being able to see the transformation, though, of like, here's who this human is, and now here, watch them do this thing that they do so well.
Yeah.
In this kind of superpower that they have.
I also think having a musician in here to talk is kind of criminal not to get them to play if we can. And everyone in this episode was so giving of their time and keen to make it work. And yeah, God, this is filmed as well. So if you're on our YouTube or Spotify, you can watch all of this if you're not already.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's all kind of beautiful.
Yeah, head over to YouTube and see them in action. So we've got a couple more. This is, I mean, we got 2 of our 5 emo elders.
Mm-hmm. Just continue on the journey.
We had another stop in. No more interviews. Sorry.
Okay. No, they're musicians, or I want to hear them play.
But my friend Anthony Green was coming through. Anthony's in a million bands.
I would argue too many bands.
Yes.
I would almost say he is greedy. Creatively greedy.
Yeah, I mean, he's played LA like 3 times in the last couple months.
Yeah.
So which is great for me because I get to see him a bit.
I've seen him once with you, and I've never seen, I mean, I have, but it's very rare to see a crowd that enthusiastic. Like, that crowd was pumped.
Yeah, and I mean, the crazy thing is like that we went to the Alice Dune show, and then he played a month later with just himself, his like solo stuff, and then he played a month later with
greedy.
Sounds of Animals Fighting.
It's wild.
I think it speaks a lot to emo, and what it is that people are connecting at this like really deep level with the artist. Yeah. And just want to support and have this connection.
Yeah, and they just want another dose of that again, you know? And I feel like he's also someone, all these artists are people that are just very good at connecting. Like, they can write a song, but they're also in like a live environment. It's like they feel that they're there. Like, when they're performing, they're not hidden back in the darkness. They're like right there and exposed.
I will say, I don't think Anthony would dub most of his music as emo.
Okay.
But when I told him we were doing the emo episode, he said Saosin, his first band, definitely emo.
Okay.
So he played us their song.
I love this.
Taking on 7 years, that Holy Ghost had left alone. Test my arms, kick like crazy. I've been trying way too long. Only pushed way off to fight you. No, I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Getting off my chest. Story ends. I will find a way without you. Tell him his eyes see too clear. I will find a way without you. Tell him his eyes see too clear. That mistake was gold. I know that without you, it's something that I could never do. And that was right. Staple the odds and 7 dates with me to sell machines and tear 7 years, you you assured me that I'd be fine if I could, but only pushed away after fight you. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Getting off my chest the story, and I will find a way without you. Tell him his eyes see too clear. I will find a way without you. Tell him his eyes see too clear. That mistake was gold. I know that without you, it's something that I could never, ever, ever, ever. And that was right. Staple the odds and 7 dates when me to sell machines tear on. Don't treat me like I'm to blame. Don't treat me like I ever accused you. Treat me like I'm to blame. Don't treat me like I ever accused you. Sorry, I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, son.
Easy peasy.
Just have to say, an incredibly handsome face. And I am a sucker for a gravelly male voice.
Anthony is a stud.
Yeah, sweet spot. And I love that he got us an emo record to play from.
Yes. Well, so speaking of the like community and crossover and all of this, when Anthony came to play that, he had his friend Keith just kind of sitting in the wings, came with him because he was playing with him that night. And it was Keith Goodwin from Days Away. It was in our original presentation. It was the one, it was the mess up that I had. I put them in Seattle, even though I know they are from Pennsylvania.
I see that I saw that presentation. I said, Rob,
that's wrong.
You got that wrong. Like, you messed up. Like, what are you doing? Did he call you on it?
No. There were a couple of comments though.
Yeah. Well, no, fans will pick up anything you do.
So Keith from Days Away, Good Old War. He was playing in Sounds of Animals Fighting. He was in Anthony's band when he was doing the solo tour. So I, of course, was like, hey, well, I love Days Away. Do you want to play a song?
Yeah.
And he said yes.
Because all these people are lovely.
Yeah. So on no practice, no like
no warning,
no prep, was just like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I was just like maybe like a little bit nervous. That's all.
I mean,
I'm gonna try it one more time. It's gonna be better. It's either gonna be better or it's gonna be worse. I'm only staying if you talk to me, and if there's no more suffering. We've already tried this, but we were younger then. Can you push it from your memory and let me in again, so we can try and get out of this web we wrapped around us? If you don't want me to leave, I'm only staying if you talk to me.
That was, because I'm coming into a lot of this stuff cold, that was the one that gave me goosebumps when I was in the room, and it gave me goosebumps again. Where his voice goes up, goosebumps. Got it in the room, got it again when I was listening now.
That was a special one. Days Away, they don't really do much.
Right.
And they were always like a band's band.
Right.
Like all the musicians that I know from that era all fucking love Days Away. It's like one of their favorite bands. That album, Mapping an Invisible World, is like a perfect album.
And what was that song, Wish?
That song was Wish, which is not off that album.
Right.
But
it's
a deep cut.
Yeah, I love that song so much. It is kind of wild when you haven't heard a song before and it instantly grabs you. There's something really special about that. And that's what that song was for me, I think.
There's so many tours and emo bands coming through that it was really an excuse to just ask these talented people to come hang out.
Yeah, hang out with some incredible people. No, but I think just the fact that those people want to take the time on a show day to come into the studio and not only to talk, but to play us songs. I don't know. I feel like very privileged to be able to have access to that.
I agree.
Like I think of the version of me that was desperately emailing Pete Wentz for like 5 minutes. And then I think where we are at the moment, it's kind of amazing.
I mean, I guess that's our goal is for Emo Part 3. We get Patrick and Pete in here.
Yeah, and Part 4, Gerard Way. It's like, and then we have a spin-off emo show. It's like its own feed. Thanks, Rob. That's really wild. And thanks to everyone that took part in this, because I'm just kind of blown away by the whole thing.
Well, and I mean, this episode was really just a result of the positive feedback we got from the first one. So
yeah, that is the thing I like about the show, is that one episode will lead into another one. Like the feedback, like that train hopping thing came from someone giving feedback to another episode.
Yeah.
So it's really neat how it becomes organic. I kind of love that.
Yeah. So when you like things, we
let us know.
Try to give you more of it.
No, it's really nice to hear from you. It's always flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. A bit of feedback before we go. Joseph said, hi, Rob and David. Just listened to the Portland episode. As someone who has lived in the Portland metro area my entire life, it's so refreshing to hear your take on things. And I hope others hear this episode and realize how wonderful the city is. I'm happy you visited in person to see just what a war zone this place has become. I love my city and the surrounding areas. I live in the suburbs. It's peaceful, beautiful, friendly, fun, chill. I can't imagine living anywhere else. For what it's worth, you would fit right in. As a Portlander, you're welcome anytime. So that's very nice. We wanted feedback if you were a hardcore Republican. Still haven't heard from any hardcore Republicans.
We don't have a lot. So I did find this interesting. I texted you about this, but every political episode that we get, I don't know if I'm starting or believing in a conspiracy or what, but every single kind of left-leaning.
But LA protests.
Yeah, LA protests, election night.
Yeah. Not even left-leaning, just an episode that was political.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will, within the first 3 hours of the episode being released.
I'll say the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. There are comments about I used to like this show before it was so liberal and we don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've just weeded all of them out by doing too many of those, but we had none on the Portland episode.
For Portland.
And it
makes you feel like some services have killed the bots. The bots have found someone else.
Yes. Or the bots have been we've done our job, that everyone's divided enough and they can take it from here.
And they've tapped out.
But it felt like a switch was flipped.
Completely.
And bots are off. Because we didn't get a single comment.
No, it was normal humans just talking about Portland. And it's funny because I don't know if you have this, but when I see a bot comment, my 42-year-old brain is still like, that is a person.
Yeah.
And they hate me.
Yeah.
That's my default. No, I know it's a bot.
Yeah.
But that's still what you feel. And they're so good at that.
And I know that's a tiny percent of the larger audience, but it's still, it's the thing where one negative comment is equal to like 10 positive.
It's so true. If you've done anything creative or you've done any kind of job and it just takes one snide comment to offset anything good, it's such a weird way our brains work and kind of annoying.
Very.
Jay did write in because I had a conservative dad. While I'm not conservative, my dad is. Sometimes we listen to the show together, but he always stays away from the political episodes. For example, maybe he's the commenter. It's not a bot. It's this person's dad. For example, he wouldn't listen to the Portland protest episode, but he got a big kick out of the candy episode. We're talking about a man who already bought a Trump 2028 hat. His news sources don't allow him to see any of the ugly. He hears crime is going down in America, and that America needs this. Anything that supports another narrative is disingenuous. Or a one-off. He's been quoted as saying Trump won't let anything truly bad happen to good people. He calls ICE, the National Guard, and increased law enforcement presence what needs to be done. He grew up in the high crime of New York City in the 70s and 80s in areas that still have violent crime, more compared to the rest of the state, and I'm convinced this is what he thinks about often. That all kind of tracks. I can imagine that's sort of we all do that to a degree. Like, we all listen to the
narrative that best suits us.
Yeah, we do. We all tend to do it, myself included. So I definitely get how big fans of Trump will listen to outlets that praise Trump. Oh, I thought this was really interesting. In response to the train hopping episode, we spoke to a very enthusiastic train hopper of yore. Been listening since the Dollop podcast mentioned us, which is nice. Love your perspective and take on things. Now for the train stuff. I'm a second generation female railroader and have worked in the rail industry for almost 2 decades, including time spent in a very active, very busy rail terminal. My rail yard saw many trespassers of all variety imaginable. I want to give you the perspective of the person who is working in a rail yard dealing with trespassers. Rail cars are hundreds of thousands of pounds of heavy material and they carry highly dangerous commodities. When your guest was speaking about his time hopping, I immediately broke out in sweats. I understand you're speaking about a lifestyle that may be unique to the US, but it's highly dangerous to mythologize this lifestyle or speak about it as something other than illegal and really, really dangerous. Imagine you're working a late shift in a remote area and you encounter a trespasser on your train. You don't know if this person is armed, poses a threat, or intends to sabotage your train. At 23 years old, I responded to derailments involving trespassers, suicides, and riders who had fallen off trains. Let me tell you, that stays with you. These are examples of situations these train hoppers are putting people who are merely working on the trains through. I can tell you they are not thinking of that perspective, but I believe you should have. And I just thought that was a really interesting and incredibly valid perspective on the whole thing, because there's always someone on the other side of all of this. Christine said, I listened to the feedback on the HOCO homecoming. Is that a thing? HOCO? For a second, I was like, what episode? Fuck, America's funny.
She's writing into.
HOCO. Okay, the homecoming episode. And the pride in your graduating class starts in kindergarten. Right before school begins, a sign shows up in your front lawn welcoming you to your elementary school, and it says your graduating year on it. Your school and email address has your graduating year in it, etc. It's just part of the entire culture. So yeah, it just starts at kindergarten. And that's probably why the kids I spoke to were so enthusiastic. It's like drilled in early.
God, that sounds depressing. I don't think I would want to be thinking about Vinny's graduating
from kindy.
I don't want to think about
That's where it begins.
Yeah, that's like very
and you'll be
depressing.
doing it for the next 17 years.
Yeah.
And then you'll be at HOCO. Imagine that. Homecoming King. Finally, Garrett said, feel free to play Great North songs that may even loosely fit the way into the episode. That song was fantastic. Thank you for introducing me to some new music. And again, Hayden did get a lot of positive feedback. His band is Great North. It should be on streaming. They even got some pretty cool music videos. If you have any feedback to this episode, flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as Calvin would say. It really does help if you rate us and share episodes around.
Yes.
I was talking with a friend who makes a podcast the other day, and he mentioned that when you get into a habit of listening to something, you just, you could listen to a podcast for 10 years and forget to sort of share it or poke and share. And I do the same. Like I think of podcasts I listen to, I haven't told anyone else about them in like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that because it's like so helpful for the people making the show.
And share your favorite parts of episodes. Yeah. I think for this episode, we're going to post those individual performances.
Yeah, they'll be on our YouTube.
We had a couple extra that didn't fit in this episode.
Yes.
And another Dashboard Confessional song, another Spill Canvas song.
Yeah, so we are on YouTube at youtube.com/@FlightlessBirdPod. All our episodes go up there. You can see me and Rob yapping on video. If you want to see, if you're like, what does Rob look like? What does Dave look like? You can watch and be shocked at our physical appearance.
Yeah.
Which you'll often find with podcasters doesn't match what you imagine.
No,
we're not really be shocked.
Not really YouTubers yet.
God, I never want to be one. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.